F9, the 10th film in the Fast and Furious franchise, was released last Friday, so it's time to go back over all those movies and rank them all worst to best. Let's get started. Welcome to another new video, everyone. Like I said, this is ranking all 10 Fast and Furious movies. Share your ranking down below in the comment section. What did you think of F9? What's your favorite Fast and Furious movie? And with that said, let's get into my ranking. I don't know what to even say about Too Fast, Too Furious. I thought it was complete garbage from beginning to end. I despise the first few movies in this franchise when I think about them together, but this movie is unbelievably bad, even compared to the other bad ones in this franchise. Now, I can't say it's one of my least favorite movies anymore, but it is awful. It's not even all that fun either. There are some funny moments, I guess, but it's so stupid and annoying for the most part. I think the addition of Roman in this movie wasn't very good. Even though I think he's better later in these films, he was so annoying to start out. So just don't watch this movie, even if you want to see all the Fast and Furious films. The annoying thing about Tokyo Drift is that it's barely a Fast and Furious movie. It had basically no connection to the other films at the time, and it was only made important later because of Han and some things in 7 and 9. I don't understand why they even called this a Fast and Furious movie at the time. It was such a bad direction for the franchise to go. Also, I strongly dislike most of the characters in this film. The main guy, who's supposedly in high school, is terrible. I mean, basically all the acting is really bad and annoying. Now, I have to say, this movie kind of does have more style than some of these other films, but it doesn't matter because it uses the exact same formula that the two previous movies did. And that's really sad when there's only 3 movies and you can already see the exact formula that they used for each one. This film is just called Fast and Furious, even though it's the 4th movie. Come on. Just put a 4 on the end of the title. And overall, this one is odd. I remember liking it well enough, but the more time that has passed, I don't think it was good. It definitely influenced the direction of the franchise away from car racing and towards more heist and action, which I like because I didn't like the car racing ones as much. But at the same time, this film really falls flat. It's such a bland, forgettable story that I probably won't ever watch again. It attempted to have some kind of good mystery with Letty and her death, but everything was improved on in the film after this, which we'll talk about later. The first film in this franchise is honestly not great at all. I don't like it much. It has some pretty good ideas with Brian and Dom and their character arcs. I do like some of the characters a little bit, but they're so much better later down the line. The storyline of Brian as an FBI agent that actually likes these people is pretty interesting, but the film all around just isn't that effective. It feels so unfocused and aimless, especially with the non-existent ending. It never felt like there was even a climax, and the film just ended out of nowhere. So while it's interesting to see where this franchise started out, I honestly can't recommend this one. A spin-off of the funniest characters in this franchise should have been a little better, honestly. Somehow this film wasn't as fun as I expected it to be. It's got some great action and funny banter between Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson, but I don't know what it is. This wasn't actually as fun as some others. It's basically an entire movie of my favorite scenes in Fast 8, so I don't know why I didn't like it as much, but I just don't. At this point, they accepted that the franchise can go anywhere, so they made it even bigger and crazier, but I simply don't think they did it all that well. It feels like a cartoon of these people who can do anything and survive, but it wore me out, and I got really tired of these characters by the end. Fast and Furious 6 is definitely the film I have the least to say about. It's a good action movie, but a bit forgettable. I appreciate how it set up the Shaw storyline, but I mean, that's basically it. I mean, the action is great, and they brought Letty back, but I didn't even like that much. It's definitely good that they brought her back in because she's important later on, but I didn't like how they made her a brainwashed enemy to the group. So, Fast and Furious 6 does have everything that made Fast 5 really good, with the group dynamic and some great action, but to me, it's just like that film, but not quite as good. That's why I find it very forgettable, like a lot of these films. I get why people might hate F9, but man, it's so fun. They just keep outdoing themselves with the stunts and action and the absurdity of it all. They literally had a car go to space in this movie, and it was hilarious. They had another car drive over a bridge that was already collapsing, but they somehow made it to the other side. There's so much absolutely insane and stupid things that they accomplish in this film, and I get if someone would watch this and say it's too detached from reality, but I'm happy that they've gone this far down that path of craziness. This is the perfect type of film to turn your brain off and laugh at the insane stuff they do. Again, I understand if people don't like this, especially the people who liked the first few movies in the franchise and they don't like how far this has gone away from what the original film was. I get that, but I was able to look past all that and simply watch an entertaining movie. This is probably some of the most fun I've ever had with the film. It's not quite over the top stupid like F9, but it's crazy and super entertaining. The big thing about this film is having to carry on the franchise without Paul Walker, which would have been incredibly difficult, but they absolutely handled it well. The story of Dom fighting against the group is really different, but I honestly think it worked. And then the stuff with the Hobbs and Shaw characters are some of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. They are so fun to watch in this film, which is why their movie should have been better than it was. There's also the villain Cypher in this movie, who I don't think is good, but everything else is just an absolute blast, and I kind of love this movie, even though I can understand people who don't like it. Furious 7 really impressed me. This movie is actually great. I think it has the best action in the franchise, with so many creative sequences and stunts. We've got the parachuting cars, and a car jumping from one skyscraper to another, and stuff like that, which is just so fun to watch. Obviously, this film also serves as a great tribute to Paul Walker. Everything they do with his character is pretty great, and they gave him a perfect ending. I think it's amazing that they were able to carry on this franchise so well, even after his death, but this film should have been the end of the franchise. I do enjoy Fast 8 and 9, but come on. Furious 7 was the movie that ended on that perfect feeling, and that's where the whole franchise should have ended. While Furious 7 was that perfect ending, Fast 5 is the best film all around. This is where the franchise finally really found its footing. Everyone agrees that Fast 5 was basically the peak of these films. First of all, there's the addition of Dwayne Johnson as a sort of ally, sort of rival to Dom and the team. I think he was a great new character for sure. They also figured out how to have an interesting heist story, but I feel like that wouldn't even work without the characters. Before this film, I basically hated every character, but this movie made me like them a lot. They brought everyone that was spread out over the first 4 films, put them all together, and made me appreciate them. That was the surprising thing about this one. It actually has some pretty great characters. Finally, the best thing about this film is that it finally added some continuity to the franchise. Each of the first 4 films felt so separated from each other, but Fast 5 brought them all together. So the more I think about it, Fast 5 is by far the best one. It's a great film by itself, but it also single-handedly made the entire franchise better. So thank you for watching my ranking of all the Fast and Furious movies. That's all I got for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.